Texas. There we go. Alright. So, Tales of Rise. Time to go for broke. See if we can't get this game over. So, we finished up a little bit of side stories last week. Because we had some time to kill and we wanted to do some last minute cleanup. But now we're going for the actual end game. So we need to go back to Coagula, Berg Volcano, outer area, and just go here. There we go. So
looks like we made it here in one piece.
Yeah, it works. Alright, so here we go. Time to take the ship up, I guess. Oh, there's a merchant right here. Let's check him real quick.
What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
I don't care about the ranch. So let's check to see if there's anything new to buy. Nothing new to buy. Let's check to see if there's anything new to forge. I don't think there's anything new. Nope, just a cat. Oh, apparently we don't have this one built. So build that one out. What's she missing? Cursed Claws and Chameleon Hides? No, I don't have any of those yet. And go ahead and build that. We're a little low on money, but... Wait! I can make flaming hands for the first time, like, ever. Oh my goodness. I can finally make his flaming hands. Been trying to make those items for ages. Absolute ages. Apparently I finally found the items I needed, like, when I was in the volcano. Sad. Alright. So, we have, I guess everything that we need. Accessories? Anything new in here? I'm only looking for 5s, really. Let's see now. Anything good? Not really. Spirit bangles. I got 2 5s here. These might be interesting. No, not really. How about the awakened ones? No, these actually look really good. That one's decent. But that's about it.
I'm impressed how well balanced this thing is.
Alright. So, let's go ahead and see if this 300-year-old junk heap flies. Because, you know, it's a Final Fantasy style game, so 300-year-old spaceship, of course it'll fly. No tinkering necessary.
Well, it's the moment of truth.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
Law, don't say that. You're going to jinx us.
Speaking of which, Alphen, this bucket of bolts got a name?
That's a good question.
A name? You know, I'm not sure she ever had one. I never really thought about it.
Well, after all the trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I was thinking something like...
Fall Knights.
Huh?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the skies.
Nice!
I like it. Sounds perfect for our little escapade.
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but... Well, it's as good a name as any. From now on, she'll be known as the Fall Knights.
Okay, people. We have 2 goals. First, we need to get to Lenegis and make the Renans finally leave Dana alone. And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shion's thorns and find a way to save her. Sound good?
Which is probably all the
right.
same problem.
And let's go.
We saw a phone call us off the other. Because that's just the way these games work. I love how all the dirt and dust and debris is gone. Like, instantly. We haven't taken it off yet. Like, she's brand new, pretty. Versus that moldy look. I love it. Because it's kind of a Star Ocean-y feel
You know,
with the way it looks.
I can still hardly believe it.
Believe what?
I mean, just look at it. The whole of existence, crammed inside a tiny frame.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting than a living, breathing world.
From up here, all the struggles we've been through feel so insignificant.
Nothing like realizing how small you are to put everything into perspective. Kinda makes the differences between the Renans and the Danans feel pretty small too, huh?
How much longer until we reach Lenegis?
There are better ways to use your time than napping. We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
Good idea. The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there. Think you'll be all right with the controls?
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say I'll manage. I'm basically just here to supervise.
In that case, she's all yours.
What's the autopilot?
Everything okay, Shion? You seem a little different.
Different? Like in a bad way different?
No, not at all. You seem more driven lately, like you found a zest for life. It suits you.
So this would be like your nav and ops stations? And he's got the command consoles. And that's probably a command chair sitting underneath there. With a captain's chair here. Under the deck plates.
We'll be going to Lenegis soon.
This must feel like a homecoming of sorts to you, huh? What was life on Lenegis like back then? You know, before you came to Dana.
Let's just say I don't have many happy memories. I've had thorns my whole life, for as long as I can remember. They called it treatment, but in truth, they were just using me as a guinea pig for their research.
You mean...
That's right. All I was to them was a riddle to solve. They poked and prodded me, trying to figure out what triggered my thorns or changed the form they took. Day in and day out, every single day, one test after another.
That's horrible.
I'm still surprised they didn't try to dissect me. The look they gave me whenever one of them touched my skin. How could I forget it? Reeling from the pain, like I was a monster or something.
And yet
Some
they did it
existence,
anyway.
huh? A blight on any I touched. Helplessly complicit in their pain. I thought things couldn't get any worse. But then they did. I started to have nightmares, visions of the coming apocalypse.
Oh, nice.
Is it any wonder I lacked a cheery disposition? Unable to so much as touch another soul. Loneliness was my best friend. Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that one day I'd be swallowed up by oblivion. And that's when it hit me. If I was going to die, then it should mean something. If I have to sacrifice myself to save the world, so be it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you relive that.
There we go.
No,
I'm
it's
all
fine.
about it.
I'm in a much better place now.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can live. But why not the other way around? Why shouldn't we be the ones dying to save you?
Are you crazy?
Nope,
Why would
he's
you
not.
sacrifice your life for...
That's exactly my point. Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the short straw in the destiny stakes? How is that even right?
That's funny.
It's that
Really,
logic that's
I'm all
used to justify
obsessed.
slavery, as if some of us were just meant to be sacrificed. This struggle was never about saving only ourselves.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean we have to give up our own lives to save everyone else's either. If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world from destruction, then that has to include saving each other as well.
A world free of sacrifice. That's what you've been fighting for all along, isn't
That's
it?
what I'm trying for.
Not just me. We're in this together, remember? This fight is yours too, Shion. If we're going to win,
There we go.
everyone has to win. There can be no room for losers in this fight. Now
I
I
haven't
see
updated my
the true nature of our struggle.
my trip fund
A victory without losers.
this month.
But that
I'll
means
do it
that a
next month.
Danon victory over Rena can't be
So it
beyond.
doesn't.
Do you think we can pull it off?
'Cause it's
You
gone up
bet we can pull it off. We have to. It's the only hope we
It's-
have of things ever changing.
March's numbers.
You're right. No one's
So I
ever
have to
changed the
update
future
that with
without
the
aiming for the
numbers from
stars.
April and May.
We can do this. Together.
Well, that's just long dialogue. This is gonna be long and boring.
Is something wrong?
No. I was merely thinking how it had been 7 years, that's all.
You mean since you became a lord and left Lenegis? I guess even someone like you can get homesick, huh?
I am as prone to sentimentality as any other. Tell me, though.
Here we
You
go.
too have a history with Lenegis. A traumatic
Yes, he
one,
does.
no less. This trip will probably mean facing up to some difficult emotions. Doesn't that frighten you?
Well,
Of course.
it is a place where I took the lives of countless people. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. But I can't keep running
Come on.
forever. The past is what
I
it
guess
is.
we're gonna have
There's
to
no
sit here and
changing
wait
that.
through all these story
But the
elements.
future's what we make it.
I see.
Dohalim?
Forgive me. I was wrong to pry. We have more pressing matters to address. Come back and
Like what
speak to
this
me when you
button
finish
does.
looking around the ship.
So I figure out what this button does. No, it's not the subtract button. Don't know what it does, but it's not the subtract button. Okay, so what they find in this room? Okay, so this is the dining area. At least I would assume that's a dining area. The lovebirds.
Hey, Alvin, listen to this. So Law and I were just talking, and
Hey, shut up!
What's got Law all flustered?
only that he's afraid of flying, the big baby. And after all that fuss he made about naming the ship, too.
Hey, I never said I was scared. I just think it's, a little unsettling how we're going to be cruising through space in a glorified tin can. That's all.
That's
It's
alright
a
too.
starship, dummy. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't think there's anything strange about it.
Well, maybe you're the one with the problem then.
Oh no.
Guys. I'm no expert, but I think we can trust Renin technology.
Yeah.
It got me to Dana in one piece, remember?
Oh, that's a good point. If you
Yeah,
think so,
300
Alvin, it must
years
be
ago.
okay. Don't you agree, Law?
This poor
Hard to
shit.
argue with that, seeing how you hitched a ride in one of these things before, Alphen. It's just wrong, okay?
Yeah, I'm kinda with it on this one. Law is not. What is this room? Uh-huh. Okay. What else do we got here? What is this? We have little thingies on the sides here. What's this? Can't do nothing with any of this stuff. I bet you once we land, it'll be like, oh yeah, well that's a resting spot, and that's a. Oh. Oh. Those are stasis pods. Take a nap.
You okay? Feeling airsick?
Actually, now that you mention it, not at all. These starships are a remarkably smooth ride, all things considered. Nothing like being at sea, thank goodness.
Glad to hear it.
That's
That
good.
device there caught your eye, huh?
I was just wondering what it is. It
Stasis
looks
pod.
big enough to fit a person inside of it.
It's a healing pod. It fixes injuries and illnesses.
Oh, you don't say. Well, that should definitely come in handy if any of us get injured while we're down there. Alphen? Was it
He
something I
was in
said?
stasis in that for
No,
300
I-
years.
I was just thinking back to when I escaped Lenegis, that's all. What with the ceremony and losing control, I was a total mess.
Yeah.
Naori laid me inside here.
So, you're saying you got in this thing straight after escaping? But that mean you were inside for 300 years?
Yes,
Yep.
it sounds crazy, I know. But don't even ask me why I stayed asleep all that time.
That's definitely quite some lie-in, all right. But still, whether you meant to or not, I sure am glad that it's this century that you finally woke up in.
What do you mean?
With the amount of fighting we've done, we would have never made it this far without you. And not only that, but... Alphen, can you recall back to what it is that I said to you? Back when we left Menancia? About the dream of coexistence and needing to learn what it entailed?
Of course. That's why you came with us, right?
Yeah,
To
of
learn
course
what
she's
you
here.
couldn't at home.
Even in that time, I was well aware that what I was living was a lie. But at the same time, I also felt really compelled to fulfill my brother's wishes. I'll always remember him fondly.
Always nice.
But the coexistence we're fighting for isn't for him. It's for people now. And those still to come.
Nice.
The world's
finally
bigger than
settled her
just
mind.
Menancia. My dream is for all Danans, wherever they might be, to be free. If I've learned anything on this journey, it's that. And the one who brought me along was you, Alphen.
Yep,
I'll
she's
forever be
growing a
grateful
lot,
to you.
which is
Well,
great.
we're not out of this forest just yet. You should probably save your thanks. At least, until we've dealt with the Red Woman.
I know. But whatever we find when we get down there, I'm through looking the other way.
Oh, good girl.
Kisara.
Probably getting a little ahead of myself, huh? Let's take things one step at a time.
Nah, you're fine. Alright, so... Need to check a setting here. Because I thought I changed this over to fix this graphics. No? Thank you. Yes. So now I can switch back and forth. Good. And visit my mouse without changing my screen and minimizing it. So that's healing. I'm guessing that the two side things there are probably crafting and whatnot. And that's what I mean, the blacksmith and the trinket area is. And this is our eating area here. I don't know if that one in the middle has got the rise on it. Not sure what that is.
Is everyone about ready? We'll soon be making preparations to land.
Sure.
Before we do that, just what exactly should we expect when we get down there?
Kisara has a point. Now that I think of it, I don't know the first thing about Lenegus.
I'd like to hear more too. It's been centuries since I was last there, and they didn't exactly give me the grand tour.
There we go.
Very well. First and foremost, Lenegus was the base of operations in charge of the crown contest on Dana. Of course, it also happens to be a city in its own right, complete with its own independent society. Its social structure is based on a strict hierarchy. Put simply, the strength of an individual's astral arts carries great weight.
That makes sense.
Enough to determine someone's social rank, you mean? But astral arts are innate, right? So people's positions are fixed at birth.
They can be honed with the right training, and there are admittedly other factors at play. But yes, that's basically the gist. As a result, family lines that churn out lords and their contenders wield disproportionate influence, and those lineages are treated as nobility.
Those capable of only weak astral arts are effectively an underclass, denied the right to descend to Dana even if they wanted to. Still, even the lowest rung on the Renin ladder is considered superior to being a Danan. Keep that in mind down there.
Thanks for the warning. As a lord, Dohalim must have been pretty high up in the pecking order, right? What about you,
Pretty
Shion?
much.
Come on, you've seen her skill with astral arts. You really need to ask?
Fair point.
On arts alone, you're right. I'd have been sitting pretty. But you're forgetting my thorns. They weren't exactly an invitation to high society.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's
That's
refreshing
valid.
to be around someone who says what they're thinking. Life's less complicated that way.
Jeez, give backhanded compliments much?
Wait a second. Are you? He is! Lost blushing!
I am not!
Of course, separating people into castes based on something arbitrary like arts is discrimination at its worst.
Of course.
As if such simplistic criteria could ever be a measure of someone's worth.
So this red woman, are we expecting to find her on Lenegus?
I would wager so. Lenegus is too deeply involved in all this to discard the possibility. Chances are
Oh,
she's
she's
also
there.
connected to the Renis Alma being stolen from us in Pelegion.
If the Renis Alma is being used to exploit Dana, we need to take it back at all costs.
That red woman's got a lot to answer for. Just as well I've got a ton of questions.
It's interesting, though. Oh, the computer.
We're about to land. The descent could be a little bumpy, so brace yourselves.
If there are clues about your thorns out there,
Like I said,
Shion,
this thing just
find them.
reminds me of Star Ocean games. I might do that after I finish Mega Man. So Lenegus is a moon. That's a techno moon. All technology and hard. Nice. It was probably made thousands of years prior.
There's no one here. I wasn't expecting a welcome mat, but still.
Lenegus's infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic while the crown contest is still underway.
Do you think anyone realizes that we're here?
We may not have received a royal welcome, but I doubt our entrance went unnoticed. Don't let your guard down.
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
Oh, we will.
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this red woman is here, right? And if we're lucky, the Renis Alma too. Any idea where we should start looking?
There is an area of the city that is accessible only to the sovereigns, known as the Forbidden Zone. That seems as good a place as any for us to start.
That sounds like where Elfin blew up the city.
Forbidden? What are they hiding?
What you
I
blew up?
don't know, hence my desire to find out. Fortunately, we just so happen to have a sovereign in our midst. In any case, changing the shape of a huge structure such as Lenegis would have required an immense source of power.
Then you think that source might have been the Renis Alma?
Possible.
Precisely. Alfin said that he remembered the Renis Alma being used in the spirit channeling ceremony 3 centuries ago. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, if preparations are underway for it to be held once more, then the Renis Alma might be in the same place as last time, possibly together with the Red Woman.
Always entertaining.
Hiding something of that worth in the residential quarters would only court trouble. In which case...
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of bounds. Is that it?
That's
Indeed.
better.
But it's been over 300 years since I was made a sovereign. You can't seriously think I'll be able to waltz right into the place after all this time.
There's only one way to find out.
Oh yeah, you'll be fine.
If there's even a chance you can get us in, I say we give it a shot.
You have a sovereign enemy.
Shion's right. Who knows? We might even find a clue to her thorns while we're at it.
All right.
So yeah,
It's not like we're
it makes
swimming
sense.
in leads, so let's try to track down the Forbidden Zone.
Alright, all members left, return to your party.
Beyond that wall lies a city full of Renans.
Okay, so
Capital
here's the
city where
computer.
Shion and Dohalim used to live, no less. Who knows what we'll find on the other side?
Let me see what the computer says. Okay, so that allows us to go back. That's cool.
Thinking about what could be lurking out here is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
For such a loudmouth, you sure can be a worrywart at times.
Oh,
There we go.
I'm sorry. How stupid of me for wanting us to stay safe.
Would you two children stop squabbling? Or do you want everyone to know we're here?
They're just having a lover's quarrel.
So how many Renans actually live in this place?
Don't
I
mind
couldn't
them.
tell you exactly, though not as many as you might expect. Machines and Zoogles take care of most of the city's basic functions.
There's Zoogles out here too, huh? Sounds like we
Yeah.
can't afford to let our guard down after all.
Well, what do you expect? I bet we'll find out that the Renans are just Danans who developed space technology in order to develop their astral arts more. Or something along those lines. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they really are. What the hell? Well, that's not what I expected to see. I guess those things went through a war already. That's quite terrifying. Quite terrifying.
What in the world?
This being Renan territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The
Yeah.
very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Yes!
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here?
Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people...
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone?
Yeah.
What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me.
Don't ask.
The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
Uh-oh, girlfriend.
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back?
Business.
You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand.
Yeah.
Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Doe?
Okay. Old girlfriend. Meets
who's
the new
Faria?
girlfriend.
Law?
Somebody had to ask.
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dana.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens.
Because
See what
they
we can
don't
find
know
out.
what's really going
While
on.
we're at it, we can ask them about
They're
the
just
Red
playing
Woman,
for
too.
politics.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danins poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right.
Ah, boy.
Then we'll leave it to you two.
Alright.
The Danins among us should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak out?
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
Up here? Yes. Alright, let's do the side story.
What could be so important? It's worth destroying people's livelihoods and homes in the process. It's just... unbelievable. Uprooting an entire city as if it were mere building blocks.
Because
Someone's
it
got
is.
an awful lot of questions to answer.
From how it looks, they must be siphoning off astral energy from Dana, and then sending it to Rena.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't be using all that energy for the crown contest.
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient. Not while we still don't know what their endgame is.
He's
Thinks they
right.
might have enough
We
power.
need to stop this from happening ever again.
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right? So what are we waiting for? Let's get moving!
You heard him. We don't have time to
Yeah,
stop
best
and
way
chat.
to do that's to crash the
move.
city. Crash the city into the planet?
So, I've been wondering, do you think when Lenegis was built, it was even made with people living here in mind?
What do you mean?
That's actually a
Well,
good question.
none of this happened by coincidence, right? They must have designed it to transform like this. But then, if they knew people were going to live here, you'd think they would have taken that into consideration to avoid all this chaos.
Ordinarily, yes. You'd think so. Trust me, as far as we were concerned, Lenegis was our home, nothing more. No one knew about all this.
But they
It
did.
makes you wonder whether the city was just built on as an afterthought. But if so, to what exactly?
Sorry, that probably sounded weird, huh?
A very large weapon.
Not at all. Sometimes it takes an outsider's eye to help you notice what you've been missing all along. This place
That's
is a
true.
mystery, that's for sure. Something tells me we'll find answers where we're going, though.
Yeah, you're right,
If you say so.
Shion. I'm sure we will.
Any more stories? No? Okay, good. Alright, let's check with this guy. That's just a lamp. There's people over there. There's people over there. There's a action there. An exit there. So let's go this way, talk to this dude, and go down there. She's healing some kids. Old dude.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zeugles have stopped heeding our commands. Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris?
Apparently, yes.
I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First, Lenegis mutates beyond recognition. Now, this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Alright, here we go. What do we got here? Anything good? Nothing interesting there. Check there. The box right here. Strawberries. I don't know. Child population. General population of kids. Alright. There's an action here. Ah, heal. That takes care of him. Ah, good. The fancy parfait recipe.
Everything will be okay now.
Alright.
I know the basics of healing arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
That's good. Nothing there. Nothing there. Talk to this dude.
Your lordship. Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that. I imagine she'd stand out somewhat, too.
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time.
He saw her. He's just had his memory defensively erased. Same problem they had. Very interesting. I guess she's probably been collecting the crown contest energies for a long time.
Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home, is all. I was
Sorry,
just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you were in Dana competing in the crown contest.
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
It's worth investigating, at
It's
least.
time for us to go heal some noodles.
I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
You'd really do that for me?
Yeah, he's
Lord
good guy.
troubling himself for someone of my lowly status?
Yeah, he's
Our
fine.
lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renan, first and foremost.
Hit.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Da, 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 da.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here.
No.
Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent, which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth, that Lenegis is under some kind of control.
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly okay with it all.
Yeah. That one guy
is
even said
weird.
Zoogle had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Their belief runs deep. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
That's a good question.
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dana? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult enough.
Probably.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night
Makes you
turning
wonder
to
if Rena
day.
actually exists than
Come
I
to
think
think
it
of it,
does.
I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I haven't.
Neither
Now
have
let's
I.
try to put it together.
In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct,
Here we
it's
go.
possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renan homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
And
But
not
what
even
about
the Sovereign.
trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away?
That'd be
What if
easy.
something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen
It's a
said he was
battery.
forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis.
I bet they're just a
Thereafter,
battery.
that individual is known as the Sovereign. Though, it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Danon. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Do you think Volron was made sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
But that would mean that 2 sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganath Haros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me...
Questions, questions, and yet more questions.
And the Red Woman could be a maiden
Ones
too.
that it seems will remain unanswered until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
So if we assume that
If
she's
the
a
Forbidden
maiden
Zone really
and
is off limits to everyone but the
he's
Sovereign,
her
that
sovereign,
seems as good a place as any to
that's a
start.
mess.
For the sake of liberating Dana, too.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. It could point us in the right direction. Let's go find it.
So we don't know how big this place is. Finally, we're caught up. Oh, God. Okay, so we don't know how many spaces we've got.
I didn't realize Renans oppressed their own kind, too.
And yet, weirdly, none of them seem to mind. Am I the only one who finds that strange?
It is the way things have always been, so no one thinks to question
It's
it.
very interesting.
You have experience in that regard yourself, do you not?
Unquestioning acceptance of your own servitude. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Even so, the quality of life here seems much higher than any Danon city we visited. I used to think it was impossible to build an ideal society without wealth. But I suppose having it doesn't always mean people are treated fairly either.
More to the
Well,
point,
talk about
not a single
picking up-
citizen seems to have even heard of the Red Woman.
What if she's not here? What if it turns out we're looking in the wrong place entirely?
No, you're in the right place.
Still too early to say anything for sure.
For all we know, she might be able to blend in, move around unnoticed. I say we hold off judgment until we've exhausted every avenue.
Yeah, but they're also missing missing the fact that the Red Woman was at
Tell me, Dohalim.
Dohalim's
Has that
place.
skill of yours got a
And yeah.
name?
And what
Yeah,
skill
notice.
would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
Yeah.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it. How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special
God.
training to master?
Let's see.
I don't know.
An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it
Oh,
has
no.
to be old-fashioned, too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping
God.
them along.
Hey! What's got into Alphen and Law all of a sudden?
Don't ask, you
I
don't want
can
to
barely
know.
understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
Anybody else want to be a ramshackled mess?
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder what the people here are supposed to do.
We'll figure it out.
I mean, they're sovereigns up on the Renin homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renin society is quite strict about such matters.
Nice.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we?
That's actually a good
To us
question.
Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
I know. But seeing Renans in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
I think this mess.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some of the locals? Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lenegis.
And they would have to.
And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana, which means they should be more inclined to talk to us.
Alright. And it works. Talk to people. So, let's see if we have any in this area. And we do! So let's go ahead and take care of that real quick. Let's see what they got to say. Let's see. Also,
Yes!
I think it's just gonna be side conversations, nothing serious. So,
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
So even he might have had something he wanted to protect.
sure. Why not? I'm not going through these texts too quickly, but okay, more gushing over Dohalim. He
I
has an
guess she
admirer.
intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
Who knows?
I shall refrain from commenting.
Who knows? Let's see.
What?
How's Vakiris? Almadria. For Dohalim or Almadria, do you? Well, let's see. After Velcus. Ganabalt. Okay. We should get on with colonizing Dana. Oh, they want to colonize Dana. He thinks that's what the whole scenario is about. Interesting.
Ganabelt was so horrible to people. Yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
Interesting.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
Because they had power to keep. And Dan's were just a tool in their minds. Just a tool. Alright, anything else in this area? Yes, no, no. And none of that. Okay. So, there's nothing down here. There is not. So make sure there's like no chests or anything. Because that's what we really want. We need chests and things. Alright. Alright, so there's the last two we need. For the lords.
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Indeed, the effects of Lenegis' transformation appear to be less pronounced here. Or, viewed another way, This area was simply luckier.
And they're all facing the little dudes. Alright, so what do we have here? House. Kindness. Let's do more of Major. Wow, she's all haughty. I guess that kind of makes sense for our Amagia's party. Guess that would make sense.
Her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right, too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Yeah.
Well, it's a way of the world keeping the world safe. World king. It's the problem with when you have too many politicians. They tend to get in the way of themselves and each other. Which is interesting. But also very true. Oh, there's a little girl here. Poor kid. They have to wear such ugly clothing. I mean, I don't mind their clothing, but imagine everybody wearing this white garb all the time. That's the only clothes that you get to wear. No variety.
Ridiculous.
I was reading about Boharan.
Okay.
Alright. Lord Urwagali. Lego. Hildress. Not for its sudden death down on the surface, like it would be in my eyes. Oh, okay. So, looks like Voltron stole the position. Interesting.
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganeth Harros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
Of course.
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you. Because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
Yeah, no kidding.
Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
No clue.
Yeah.
Have we?
I think it's made me realize that the lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that.
Yeah, good
But
choice.
at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess
Yeah, but they were
what
horrible.
I'm trying to say is...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
That's pretty much it, yeah.
Not at all.
Being a Danon doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think
Now
that's
it's starting
something
to
we've
get-
all seen.
Shion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust.
Yay,
As a
there we go.
fellow human being above all else.
Yay! Yes, you're a human idiot. Alright, there goes that one. Alright, so that did not have a thing associated with it. That's okay. So, No Zoogles in this area. But we do want to check for chests, at least. Because I suspect there'll be more Zoogles along the way. Like, this area is going to become a swamp fest of Zoogles.
There's something I just don't get.
That's something fun.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfricht Milgras, the former lord of Cislodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfricht whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes.
He's
Though
got
admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegus?
I guess over holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegus from the motherland, sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
No.
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
That's a very good point.
You and me both. Though we are Renin by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
As I try and put the pieces together. Alright, so we're gonna go this way, because there might be a chest over here or something. I don't see one. Let's see. Nothing there, nothing there. But my guess is that the red woman is a maiden.
Doe?
Oh no,
Faria.
the ex-girlfriend.
Varia? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
But why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already.
No.
Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still...
Kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit.
Oh, he's changed a lot.
But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
Oh, he's way past that here. And there's the red woman. Going completely unnoticed.
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
Yep.
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to.
Good man.
Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
No, she's right.
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
Oh no, he's not wrong. Alright, so what do we have down here? Anything before we go to the door? Nothing over there. There's a chest over here. See if that's anything good. All this orange gel, I really don't need it. Alright, nothing really necessary here, is it? Now, I'm assuming if we go to, we cannot, okay, so we can't use the world jump. Well, I can. I can go back to the forest, I can go back to the wedge. I can know where I want to go. Lenegus is part of... The Lenegus, the starship, the wedge, and the forest are all in the other category. So I can go to this ship. Problem is... none of the areas up to this point have had a checkpoint. And there's one above us. Right here. Here's our first checkpoint. So, that's good. I'll be able to save there and be able to probably buy new gear. I assume there's going to be new equipment that we can buy now that we're on Lenegus. And I'm still thinking that Ren is a figment of their imagination. That in reality, Rena is just the homeworld below, but from hundreds of years ago. Like it was a kingdom across the sea or something. But it was kind of implied early on, and then all of a sudden we go into space. Very weird. How just all of a sudden, oh, by the way, we're gonna have to go into space to do a thing. It's like, what? We came from space? It's weird. It's weird how they sprung that on us. Just out of nowhere.
Wow, this place is beautiful.
Yeah. It must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renin sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Oh no.
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnigan. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnigan. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
Oh jeez, now we gotta go deal with
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed.
Now you know why
Despite
she got so
Faria's lower class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnigan and Avakir.
There we go.
It was a time of great joy.
A nice story.
4 people
of
bound
who
only
were
by
going
their
to kill
love
each other.
of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
I just need to go to this.
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where everyone is a prisoner to their social class. You really are different, Dohalim.
Yeah.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends based solely on affection is something beautiful that's worth cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
She's got a point.
Your praise
Which is
does me
great
too
as
great
shit.
an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart.
But
And
you
even
did
then,
the right thing.
it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnagan and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnagan had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society.
Alright.
But fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnagan was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
So,
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait. Don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less. She would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty. Instead, I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
she's got a point.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
The story is so heavy.
Frank as always. But I shall
It's a
do
good
my
story,
best to
though.
heed your advice.
It's just a long, drawn-out commentary. Now that that's
Do you
over
think
with,
you'll be all right?
we might be able to actually move on
Yeah,
with the
I
game.
think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Shion. I promise he does.
She
I
was
hope
talking
you're
about
right.
herself, too. She was talking as much about herself as them.
Alphen,
Alright.
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've
Now,
helped me
let's see
keep
here.
going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
There we go. She is one step closer. Alright, so that's that way. So let's go this way. And our friend of a friend is probably gonna be all grumpy. I suspect he's going to think we are problems
I see a
Maybe you can
medic
try
and
to stop
supply
us?
officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
Alright, so here's your supply officer. And
And
our
what do you
supply
say we check
station.
back in on the ranch?
Okay. So here we go. What do we have? That's new. We have new armors. Let's have a look at diamond mail. We need money. We need a lot of money. What do we got? What do we got that we can sell for good money? Not those. Those are too how should we say, valuable. Now, the equipment down here, like this one here, we can just sell like 50 of these and call it a day. And like these here, we can sell a bunch of these. We don't need, 100 of this stuff. That's how this isn't worth much, but we can just burn a lot of it. Especially the resources. Don't really need much. Alright, so materials, let's go with this real quick. See if we can't find some money. Because Lord knows we could use some. Now, we could always, like, sell gear that's not equipped. Not the armors not equipped, the weapons, because we can make more of those. So that's a thing, too. So, like, how much do I need in order to buy all the armor? 6 of us, 6 grand, so just under 30,000. I believe we can get everybody's armor. Nope, we're short one. We're short the whole we'll get his later.
Did we really just spend that much money?
Because he's not really a primary character. It's fine. Where's the experience one? Should be an experience boost. Let's see. What do we have here? Effect, duration, or rates, experience. I don't have the fish. I mean, I could do the sashimi. That's kind of expensive. Ah, but this one's cheap. So let's do this one.
Easy peasy. I knew I could handle it.
I mean, it's not fantastic, but it's something. That resets all of our health bars and everything else. Alright, so let's go ahead and save. Alright, so now we're going into the Undercity and we'll deal with this. So we're gonna have to weasel our way through the caves down here.
Damn it. Lenegis soldiers.
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them. Whatever happens, be ready.
Well, so much for them not wanting to fight.
Ho! I am Lord Dohalim of Elda Menencia. I command you.
The rest of the city must be erased.
No. Have they been brainwashed too?
Brainwashed or not, if they
Yeah,
want to
okay.
fight, they got one.
Yeah, no, the Red Queen has them.
That's my cue.
Shut him down.
Oh well.
It's almost too strong. Be my guest.
Waterfall.
Alright, smash his armor up.
A whirling struggle.
No. What are we in?
Ready.
Oh, here we go. Just this physical bash.
A whirling struggle.
I don't know. It's one of those things that this game. Well, I find it. The combat system's good. It's fun. I find that as it's going on, it's really starting to get boring because it's very repetitive setup.
Those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across so far.
Yeah, they weren't big talkers, that's for sure. They just attacked without warning.
They
Just
weren't
kinda
the
like
least bit
dragging on.
fazed by Dohalim's presence either.
Indeed. They seem to recognize us as enemies, nothing more. And yet, traditionally, Lenegis hasn't been high on threats. A few frenzied Zoogles during experiments here and there, but not much else.
Their glazed-over eyes reminded me of the soldiers and slaves we met back in Ganath Haros. The ones in blind devotion to Volron.
I've never seen anything like that here on Lenegis before.
Maybe someone doesn't want us here, and the soldiers are their way of letting us know.
What with the Red Woman, the Sovereign, and Volron, we're starting to develop quite the growing list of adversaries. At least we'll know to keep our wits about us.
Except the Sovereign may not actually exist in the way you think, because that's what I'm thinking. Oh. Chest. He looks kind of nasty and kind of cute all at the same time. The boring days. Look at these radioactive Zoogles.
It'll be a free get in, get out.
And really,
Now you see what I can do. Take this.
Divine streak. These ones can run rings around us.
it kind of makes me think like the radioactive Zoogles or something. Like you'd see from like Fallout or something. That's what it kind of reminds me of.
May a thousand
I'm going to assume Wait is not going to be highly effective in this. That's my thinking. And we need to get more SP
I
for
wonder
our
if we can make
characters.
new weapons with this.
Dark Mains, yes, we're getting there. Okay. We could use your whatevers.
No choice.
I'm on no further. I'm just everything does it. Eat dirt.
As if the normal creature crawlies aren't disgusting enough.
This should do it. I'm just getting started.
There we go.
I never miss. Here, let me help.
There we go, that's nice. That did okay damage.
Hear my call.
It's not great. See if that does any damage. That does good damage. Yeah, I am not doing crit damage, so what the other guy does. it's wind. So my guess would be
Winds of heaven.
probably earth effects. That's probably that'd be my guess. 'Cause that it's wind damage. So it's gonna be like earth or whatever. There you go. Flaming sword. Good job.
Scarlet Inferno!
You just have to work through it. That's the big trick. Too late.
Now I'm real mad!
Here, let me help.
There you go.
Alpin, astral energy.
Alright, there we go. Gonna have to heal now.
I need to be stronger.
That we're gonna definitely need to heal. Alright. And we can always get more. And we can, you know, back up a little bit and rest. That's always the option here.
Then you leave me no choice.
Oh no, we have all of those coming up. And this is weird.
Coming through!
I guess he's missing her.
Scarlet Inferno!
And then finish it. Nice. Okay, this is actually doing pretty okay.
We'll soon see about that.
It didn't do much damage. You know, it's one of those things that you just gotta work through it.
Say no more.
And eventually, you'll finish.
Am I on a roll or what?
Alright, so
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny
that
mood.
looks like a nasty little fight over there. Now there's a chest over here. Look, there's shortcake recipe.
Hey, look at that enemy. It's shining.
So that's where our story is. So we'll have to come through this guy, come through here, We'll open up that room just because, you know, it's out there in no man's land. Looks like we're not gonna be able to sneak past these guys, they're just too in the way.
That'll bring you down.
How long are we gonna keep this up for exactly?
See what I can
Oh my god. I am not in a position to deal with that. I mean, it's okay, but I just got that guy. I got one more left.
I'll crush you!
Nice move. Go ahead, knock him out.
Tenebrous claw!
I guess that takes care of him.
Am I on a roll or what?
But we
Look
got a
who's
lot
in
of
a
good
bright
stuff
and
coming
shiny
in.
mood.
That's good. I got a lot of good
The soldiers
items,
don't seem to have any qualms about attacking on sight.
which is nice.
Is someone making them stand guard over the Forbidden Zone?
Well, duh. What do you think the right way is gonna be?
Forgive you.
There we go. Our cast times too bad. Hey, we're actually making progress with these guys. Not too bad. They're tolerable. Eventually we'll get through this area. It's just a matter of... There he goes. Oh my goodness, it didn't die. It's not dead yet. This guy's got a lot of hit points.
This one keeps charging us. That's what my shield's for. Get behind me. Good. I'll leave it to you.
This thing's charge attack is really funky. By the time
It was a close thing.
you notice the charge attack, it's already stopped charging. It's kind of weird. It's because it's so large, so its charge is really short. There's like ore in here.
Hi, Hoodle.
Alright, so we want totally right. Now, I guess that's a thing. Oh, magic. I love that.
You get the gist.
Yeah, it's like one of the things. Yeah, they always have that weird stuff in this game, which I like. It's nice. Yeah, it does help. But each of them has like maybe 5-6 phrases.
See what happened there as you crossed me. Shouldn't have done that.
And that's really what it comes down to. There's not really that many phrases, and they all bleed together. It doesn't help.
Here.
You know? And when the fight combat in this game is not exactly thrilling. I mean, it's good active combat.
New weapons with this.
Don't get me wrong. Regenerative crystal, okay. Translucent crystal, fine. Red sage. Called it. And a big regeneration crystal. Some hex breakers, some translucent pebbles. Alright, so it's just kind of like a bunch of random stuff. That's cool. Alright. As I said, these guys are all... Yeah, I tried to sneak around them, but not happening.
Armor won't save me.
Not on my watch.
That doesn't work. I hit the wrong button. I hit Ben Wells instead of hitting Shans. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. We just have to run through everything and think where we're going.
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished.
And he's level 44s, and we are... What level are we now?
I've been doing really great lately.
46, so we're plus 2 levels. And almost fully geared out, so this is not a bad thing. Money, we need that. You, come here. Sweet. That was alright.
Now you see what I can do.
Because that gave us 3 instead of all 5 at once. take care of that.
Take it. It's over. Radiant pierce. Here, I never miss.
Oh, she doesn't miss, but she does do a lot of damage. Like to take care of that.
Say no more.
Push me.
Looks like we won.
Slide past these two. And that takes us to a teleporter. Now, is there a rest point at this point? No, but there's more try.
This must be it. The entrance to the Forbidden Zone.
But it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa,
That's the
wait.
sovereign stuff.
I thought this was sovereigns only.
Alphen,
There we go. Time to try the sovereign power and see what happens. There you go.
Yes!
There's your
It
door.
opened!
Interesting. If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the Sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
what?
What the?
This is not good. Memories.
Alphen,
You again.
tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Danon. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for, let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Tell me,
They don't
we're
even
both
know.
in the same boat. Why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice. Becoming the Maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
Still, as a Renan, at least you got to decide. Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When this is over, I swear I'll help you get home. I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So,
Excuse me.
what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imaris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean.
Because she's a lab rat.
How come you treat me like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds. But neither one of us
Do
asked to
you?
be here right now. In that sense,
I'm
you
not
and I
sure
are
they
much the
do.
same. We couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other. So I suppose
still
the
think they
question you
don't
should be
necessarily-
asking is,
They
why
aren't
wouldn't I
necessarily
treat you
coming
like
from
one?
different worlds.
You're not like the others.
Maybe they're not like me.
I'm
Here's
still
what we'll
thinking
do.
that Rena may be a lie.
We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dana. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
I'm still thinking that it may be a lie.
What the hell just happened?
That vision. Did everyone else see it too?
That person Alphen was speaking to, she looked exactly like Shion.
It was Naori. Naori Imeris. Isn't that right?
Yeah, their eyes are definitely
Yeah, that's right.
She really does look like Shion. I'm beginning to see why Alphen was so confused.
That's all very well and fine, but what did we just witness exactly? It was too real to be a mere hallucination.
It was a conversation we had 300 years ago. The night before the ceremony.
You mean all of that really happened?
Yep.
We just saw an episode straight out of your past?
Yep.
But how is that even possible? Unless... Could this be the Red Woman's handiwork too?
No,
Nope.
I don't think so.
Why not?
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, it was like a stream of Danon astral energy rushing over us.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same sensation as back inside the wedge.
That would make sense. After all, vast amounts of Dana's astral energy were being siphoned and sent up here to Lenegis. For all we know, perhaps we're close to the spot where all that energy was stored.
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible for that vision we just saw?
Possible.
But how? And why?
We have no way of knowing. Maybe it's not even as deliberate as all that.
Shion, you okay?
Yeah. It was all just a little sudden. That's all. So that was my ancestor, huh? It was like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, there certainly is a resemblance.
What about you? How are you holding up?
Me?
He's surviving.
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of those. Reliving painful episodes from your past. Do you think you can handle it?
I can't just pretend like the past never happened. Besides, if it helps us uncover the truth of what that ceremony really was, it might also lead to answers about your thorns.
Alphen.
At least to where they came
That's
from.
not all. This whole time, we've been fighting to free Dana from the Renans. But now that we're here, it seems those same Renans might have it just as bad. I'd like to liberate them too if I can. Which is just another reason I can't afford to shield my eyes from the truth.
Whether you're on Dana or somewhere else, you always stay the same.
Yep,
Your
and that's a good
indignation
thing.
and righteous passion, your desire to free and protect, they're all hardwired into you.
Yeah,
Not
that's
that
not
I'm
a bad thing.
complaining. Come on, let's bust this thing wide open.
Especially for the hero master.
Nobody's here.
Stay sharp. After that last illusion, there's
So
no
we've got
telling what could
nothing
happen
else
in
here.
here.
We have a story point in the next room. And then we have the next zone. Now there is a rest point here. So this is definitely a place you want to save. So let's save. Because it's going to be a boss fight right here. And let's go ahead and check our stats. Our stats kind of stink. That's fine. Do all, and then what we'll do is we'll come over here to items, and in the gels we have, oh, I have a million peach gels I could have used. Oh my goodness. Give me an orange gel. Now I'll take the boss fight and then hit that heal. Move on. Because that's how we're gonna roll with this. The X. She's our opponent.
Faria, how did you get in here?
Wait, something about her isn't right.
What's wrong with her? She doesn't even seem to know where she is.
Yeah, you're right.
Nope, this is the rebel.
She looks just like the soldiers we encountered outside.
Oh no. She's doing a master core. She's a semi-critter. night. Or something. I don't know. That's kind of nasty looking.
A summoning?
But that's preposterous. She never had that kind of power when...
We can talk later. Here it comes!
Alright, so what kind of creature is this?
What? I've never known Faria to control Zoogles like that before.
How about with a stone that looks suspiciously like a master core?
Where did we get our hands on that?
First we handle the Zoogles. Then
The Sue has a lot of hit points, but it's not bad.
Freeze Lancer! Blah, blah, blah. I'll heal you all! Purge Malevolence! Here's a healing arc!
Alright, that was a little painful. We're doing okay on that. Let's do this, try and break its positioning.
Can't get out of this!
Okay, with everything we've got.
I won't save you!
Yeah.
Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down!
There we go. That's good. It's a cool monster. Too bad the... Too bad it's just not gonna live. Yeah, it's boring. Cool monster, but not really a good, great, entertaining fight.
This ends now!
There we go.
Here, let me help.
That takes care of that. Oh, right. I did not need that attack. That attack was useless. That attack was absolutely useless.
Here comes the big one!
Now you see what I can do!
I tried to dodge it.
Ready! Arc
I got you. I mean, Laura's taking a bounty on that one.
You okay?
I can still do this!
Freeze Lancer! Purge Malevolence!
Take this! Rising one!
No, she didn't. I mean, she's not useful.
In a vine?
The extra damage is nice, but that's about what we're getting out of it.
Double demon fang!
Yeah, we get a little extra damage out of their attacks, but
Freeze Lancer!
Carve through armor!
Purge Malevolence! Magic is down!
Not today!
that's about what we get for that.
Here, let me
But I said it's dying quickly, so it's not too bad.
I thought you'd never ask.
It's
Charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
it's fine. I don't have the shield, but
No further!
it's fine.
Freeze Lancer!
It was easy to dodge.
The sky is mine!
The advantage to me being so far away
Look sharp, everyone!
is that they tend to do that charge in my direction. And because of that, kill him.
Say no more!
It's not a big deal. It's an easy day.
Now it's just her! Faria, do you hear me? Faria!
She's preparing another summoning!
The art she's casting is way too powerful to control. At this rate, her body won't be able to take much more. Dohalim!
Forgive me.
Wow, she just shot the master cord and it blew apart.
Man, I thought we were goners.
Everything okay?
Yes. She's only unconscious.
Not her. I meant you.
Shion, please. Can you treat her?
I can try, but I can't promise she'll be back to her real self when she wakes up. All I can do is heal her physically.
We're not even supposed to be in here. Maybe it'd be better if we moved her to somewhere a little safer. Don't you think?
In that case,
I'll take her off your hands.
you?
Oh, good.
What are you doing here?
I was curious what you were up to, so I took the liberty of following you to find out. I overheard what you said about Tarnigan, about how he really died. I'm sorry, I had no idea.
And you believed me? What makes you so sure I wasn't lying?
I like to think I know you a little better than that, Dohalim. Give me some credit. I'll take Faria. Leave her with me. I know better than to ask what you're up to. But whatever it is, I hope it all works out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Fun taking the axe. Heal her up, kick him
He
out.
seems like a good friend.
He hasn't changed. He never was one to stand out. Instead, he was always hanging back, worrying about everyone else. As for Faria, it's always the closest to me who get hurt.
You don't seriously blame yourself for what happened to her, do you?
Yeah.
Somebody got to her, to strike back at me. Someone who knew me well enough to know that I'd hesitate to fight back. And the same goes for you as well. Neither you nor Faria would have lost loved ones if it wasn't for me.
You're wrong. Kelzelik was the one who killed my brother, under orders from Almadria. As for Tarnigan, if it weren't for the crown contest, he'd still be alive. That and the whole damn hierarchy that makes it possible. But that's why we're fighting. To put an end to this whole messed up system that treats people as expendable.
Indeed. Ridding society of this blight is really the only way I know how to atone for my sins.
You can't atone, Dohalim. I know it hurts to hear, but those people are dead. No amount of soul-searching or trying to make amends is going to change that. Forgiveness, acceptance, those ships have sailed.
So I just forget the harm I caused?
No, the opposite, in fact. You remember. You never forget. You keep it in your heart always. And then you go on living. Not for those already passed, but for those still alive.
For those still alive.
Kisara's right. So long as we've still got breath in our bodies, we can make a difference in the lives of others. Lives being the operative word.
I saw
That's what living's all about. Being able to still make a difference.
Yeah, keeping
Punishing
Mencia's
yourself for the
dream
past
alive.
won't make the pain of your conscience go
Expanding
away.
it.
Only fixing the problem in its stead. Is that what you're saying?
That's
It's a
right.
huge thing for him.
You have to live for tomorrow, Dohalim.
He hasn't quite
not for
figured out
yesterday.
that that's really what he needs
And
to
not
be
only
focusing on.
that, you need to live for yourself, and for the change that you still can be.
I shall try.
Don't forget, we've still got a mystery to solve. The Forbidden Zone, remember?
Shion,
Huh?
thank you. You have my deepest gratitude for what you did for Faria.
Glad to be of service.
I'm glad we could stop Faria without hurting her.
You all did much for her as well.
Very nice.
I'm most grateful.
Oh, shucks. We're on the same team, right? Let's move on.
Let me go ahead and heal. Since we didn't really need anything from there.
Do you think Faria was really being controlled by someone?
Oh, yeah.
Certainly seemed that way. The question is, who? The Red Woman?
The same
Definitely.
person who's behind all of this, I'll bet. Whoever that is.
Brainwashed or otherwise, the feelings of resentment she holds towards me are real.
Someone used her because they knew we'd hold back. If that's not playing dirty, I don't know what is.
It does tell us one thing at least. Someone here in Lenegis is watching us. Someone who means us harm.
There's no
Not again.
question. That attack was meant for us alone.
By someone capable of getting inside a person and manipulating them like a weapon. We need to find whoever it is, fast.
So the question is, who's the next weapon she's going to throw at us? Because I guarantee you it's going to be more than one coming down the pipe. I just hope it's not like one for each character, because that would get really tedious real quick.
What is it, Rinwell?
Uh-oh.
Do you hear something again?
Yeah. It's that voice.
Oh no.
The will of Dana's astral energy.
Next story element. I'm gonna start learning more about the truth of Alphen's past. Ah, maybe learn what really happened during the ceremony. I bet it wasn't his fault at all.
What? There's so much astral energy. But where's it all coming from? It's almost like it's alive.
Oh no. The thorns. Came from the maiden seal? Oh, that's right, it was her that broke the spell causing the devastation. I suspected it probably was. Since he was basically mentally unconscious and trying to control all the energy at once.
That was the spirit channeling ceremony just now. No, it was more than that.
Yeah.
What the hell was that? It felt like everything was on the brink of... like the whole world was seconds from...
Oblivion.
Because it
It's the
was.
same vision as the one my thorns show me. A vision of impenetrable darkness that swallows up us and everything else.
An empty void. A nothing so complete and dominating that there aren't even words to describe it. The end of time.
The
Maybe.
visions of the apocalypse you've been seeing. If I'd known how bad they were,
So, everything we just saw, those were Naori's memories, right?
That's right.
Basically.
It was as if her innermost thoughts were speaking directly to us. At least I know they weren't mine.
That power flowing into her. It reminds me of Shion's thorns. If they're what's responsible for all these visions she's been having, then maybe...
Maybe my thorns are made from that same astral energy?
Possible? Actually, probably likely.
If that is the case, we just found the missing link between your thorns and what happened here 3 centuries ago. No, more than a link. Perhaps even the very heart of the matter.
I've never felt astral energy so powerful. What was that?
If it's the same energy your thorns are made of, it must be dark astral energy, right? And isn't that something only Renans have?
Correct. Dark astral energy is possessed by Renans alone.
And when enough astral energy gathers together, it develops its own form of sentience. If so,
We know that.
maybe that complete oblivion is exactly what the Renan astral energy's will is wishing for. But why?
I don't know. Will can be a pretty vague thing to nail down. It's more of a feeling, just like the will of Dana.
But the will of Dana is made up of astral energy too, right? And if that's what's been showing us these visions... I don't know, should we really be getting so involved with this thing?
Dana's will would never want oblivion.
But you can't say that for sure!
Cut it out, you two. Squabbling over theories will get us nowhere.
She's got a point.
Let's keep moving. If it's Dana's will showing us these memories, then I'm as clueless about its motives as any one of us. But if it could lead us to the truth, then I want to find out more.
We need to find out more.
Shion's right. All we can do is keep going. If these really are Naori's memories we're watching, there could be truths in them I was never aware of. And I think they may be the kinds of truths I need to confront if we're going to keep fighting.
There you go. Good boy.
I'm sorry about what I said earlier. Come on, let's go.
Finally, we begin to understand what the thorns are.
Yes, and their source. A ceremony that occurred 3 centuries ago.
But we still don't know how to get rid of them. I just hope we can
We'll
find
figure
a
it
way.
out.
Soon, we might very well learn the truth behind Shion's thorns. As well as my own past. I have to be ready to face anything. Whatever happens. I'm determined to save Shion and Dana. Nothing I learn can change that.
Okay. That's just one of those weirdies. Alright, let's see what this
That
side story
vision we
is.
saw. It was as if it was meant specifically for us.
What do you make of it? Do you
It's up
still
to you
think
to
the will
understand.
of Dana might be involved somehow?
Maybe it's trying to tell us something. But what?
Well, it could be supernatural. You know, like seeing dead people, messages from beyond the grave, ghost-type stuff.
That's your grand theory? That we're being haunted? Come on, Law.
Kind
Wait.
of.
He might be closer to the mark than you think. What if a person's thoughts and deeds were to somehow become indelibly etched into the ether of a place? And what if those with a connection could then somehow pick up on them?
You
There
think
you
that's
go.
what it was? Some kind of message someone left here for us?
But not
I am
intentionally.
merely entertaining the possibility. Whether it was Dana's will, or somehow connected to the Sovereign and Maiden's powers, I do not know.
Okay, back up a sec. You're saying that if a place is full of enough astral energy, it can somehow show us events that happened centuries ago?
More to the point, how does that much astral energy gather in one place anyway? Seems unlikely it happened naturally.
Whatever it was, it
Well, they've
survived
been
here
collecting
intact for
energy for
300
300
years.
years.
Whoever left it for us, the strength of their intent is beyond doubt.
The strength of their intent.
Anything else? Alright, so next up order. Now, the way this typically goes, there should be a story element here, a gate there, no jump point.
Hold up, you guys.
What is it?
I want to look through that room over there. I'm curious what we'll find.
That's the room you visited in your past, right?
Sure.
We can check it out.
And of course, we have to do the medical lab first, before we move on.
This looks like some kind of research facility.
A laboratory secreted away in the Forbidden Zone. Why am I past being surprised at this point?
Looks pretty deserted.
Let's check it out. It might give us a new lead.
Everybody, go explore. Alright. Let's see here. Computer. Let's find out what's going on.
I think I can make this work.
There we go.
Well, can you make head or tail of it?
These are experiment records by the looks of it.
Let's
Reams
see what
of
we
them,
got.
dating back hundreds of years. Let's see. A composite being capable of controlling Danan astral energy so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure taking the form of a Danan. Codename Sovereign.
Interesting.
Sovereign.
Wait, there's more. Research into utilizing force field crystals for the purpose of stable astral energy containment. That must be the Master Cores.
Yeah.
With all this raw data, there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords, too.
About the Lords? Why would they be on there?
Because
Think
they're all
about
part
it.
of this too.
The Lord's crests are clearly of a piece with those of both the Sovereign and the Maiden.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that the contenders to the crown are selected from otherwise regular Renan citizens.
Yeah.
In other
Because
words,
they'd have to be converted.
it may be that all Renans are unwittingly being made subject to some kind of grand scheme.
What about the Sovereign? Does it say anything else?
Let's see.
Where do I start? All I've read so far is the headlines. There's so much here. To sift through all of it would require specialized... Wait.
What is it? Did you find something?
It's a list of names, with the title Test Subjects, Sovereign.
Oh, here we go.
It's your call.
Read it.
Alrighty, here we go.
There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait. I think I've found one that was successful.
And this is offense.
Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Alphen.
They re-engineered me. Right here in this lab.
Yep.
Alphen.
It's fine, really. What about the others? Was I the only one?
Test subject number 10105. Ethnicity, NA. Unique
Oh my
adjustment
God.
index, generation, NA. Given name, Volron.
So what's wrong with the
Volron?
other
But that
successful?
means...
He's only sovereign because someone made him that way too.
He's the last one.
Yeah.
3 centuries worth of records. You and Volron are the only 2 subjects on whom the experiment was a success.
Interesting.
But what about the winners of the crown contests? Does this mean that none of them were ever crowned sovereign after all?
Upon victory, the Sovereign shall return to Rena and rule over Rena and Lenegis combined.
Yep.
When a new Sovereign is decided, the outgoing monarch shall relinquish their post and live out the rest of their days on Rena. So we were told. But according to these records, there have only ever been 2 Sovereigns, neither of whom had anything to do with the crown contest. It's all lies, including the part about the Sovereign residing in Rena. The crown contest
Aren't you
was never
happy?
about deciding a new ruler. It must always have been devised for some other purpose.
But even supposing that's true, someone must have been in charge for the past 3 centuries, right? If it wasn't the Sovereign, then who was it?
Crown contests have been held this whole time, in spite of the fact that there was already a Sovereign. Me. Meaning that for the past 300 years, someone out there has to have been maintaining that lie. The same person I'm willing to bet is behind all this.
The Red Woman?
Or something behind her.
It's possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's the mastermind behind this scheme.
She could be the biggest tool.
She could be working for someone else. Someone back on the Renan homeworld.
Either way, it's fair to say she's definitely involved somehow.
What about the data records? Is there no other information that could help us?
Anything on
Not that I can
Maiden?
see. Just file upon file of experiment results. There's nothing here about who's behind all this, or what their endgame is, unfortunately.
They didn't find the...
I've barely managed to scratch the surface, mind you. You won't be able to read through it all, but you're welcome to take a look through what you can, while we're here.
I'd be interested to see if
I'll
there's
do
anything
that.
on the maiden that would help out a lot.
So this is where Alphen became the Sovereign. And Volron
Right.
as well.
So we have a few
The
computers.
significance of this location would suggest...
Hey, it looks like the terminals in here turned on too.
We should look through them. They might contain valuable information.
Alright, let's do the side story first.
Only 2 sovereigns in over 300 years. So why has the experiment only succeeded twice in all this time? And if that's the case, why keep on doing it? Was there really no other way? Or could there be
What's their
some other
goal?
reason?
Dohalim.
Forgive me.
Alphen.
That's what we don't know what the goal was.
Fine. I'm just a little shaken, that's all. I knew what I was already, so it's not like it's a surprise or anything. But it's strange. I've got all this rage inside of me, but I don't even know who it's for. I'm scared that I'll put a face to it, just to have someone to blame.
If that were to happen, then
Yep.
No.
That's a good way to
Then we'd
think
help you
about it.
fight it, before you ever got that far. Wouldn't we, everyone?
Yeah, we wouldn't just sit by and watch you spiral out of control.
That's
Ah, we've already seen that
No
happen.
good can come from being consumed by hatred.
If you ever start to lose your way, you can count on us to guide you back. To remind you where home is.
And I would be happy to lend an attentive ear, should you ever have need.
Thank you, everyone.
Let's get to the terminals.
I think I'll be okay now.
Now we actually have something interesting to look at. Alright, so let's start with this terminal over here. Oh great, we have another one.
For the people of Lenegis, the Forbidden Zone is the stuff of dreams. Yet here I am, standing within its hallowed halls.
It's off limits even for lords, then? Talk about an exclusive club.
Being exclusive is one thing, but how many important facilities let in only the Sovereign? Doesn't that seem a little strange?
Strange doesn't cover it. If it was only one room, maybe.
Yep.
But a place on this scale? How did they keep it from falling into ruin? Whoever the Sovereign is, they can't manage the upkeep of this whole place themselves.
Did no one ever talk about it when you were growing up?
No,
They don't have
not
to.
that I can remember. Then again, Sovereigns and Forbidden Zones weren't exactly breakfast table conversations.
Good point.
The Forbidden Zone is a hallowed place, at one with the Sovereign's authority, grounds of the one true ruler who presides over all Renans. That is
Yeah.
what we believed this place to be.
Except
No,
it's not.
what we were made to believe it was. But now, it is finally time to discover this area's true purpose, and why it was kept hidden behind the scenes for so long.
Anything else? Alright. Let's examine this section. Pick a topic to explore. Master course. Let's see. Having one of the 6 elements. Used in the Crown 10 test. Only the Dark Master Core is maintained inside the Forbidden Zone until the Renaissance Almond is created. Is ready to be formed. Underneath the Master Core sphere layers, a force field crystal to capture the energy. And the Crown Contest is to capture the energy. Blah, blah, blah. Anything really useful in here that we don't already know? Oh, addendum. Design flaws. They've been discovered in how the Renaissance Almond materializes. Be advised the active master cores may resonate with other master cores located in proximity to become unstable. Due to successful regeneration of the Renaissance Almond, master cores will cease to be deployed, and the Crown Contest will be permanently halted. Okay, so that's what that's about. Sphere grows the terminals. astral energy. Looking to see if there's anything interesting in here. This means that jazz must be employed to harvest the astral energy for the purpose of the crown contest. Given the difficulty in producing them, it is advised that spirit cores be retrieved from the host bodies and reused upon their death. Spirit cores can be also embedded in Zoogles to control them via astral arms. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Increased physical load on a host body tends to produce increased astral emissions, hence the aggressive slave labor to do nothing. Combination workload and false bodies. Alright, exit this terminal. Alright, let's do this one next. Information on the Lords. Unique adjustments index test subject report. Let's go with the Lords. Each contest will have 5 of the best qualified members of the random populace are chosen to act as Lords, vying for Sovereign. During their tenure, Lords are granted level 3 authority as well as one of 5 elemental realms. They also assign an ID crest. The selection process is based only on astral and artistry and physical and mental aptitude. The Lords position themselves in a way to make an individual stronger. However, it should be noted, however, that Lords are not the only individuals capable of drawing out the Master Lord's powers. All Renans must take part in the selection process, and acceptance of position is mandatory. It is not allowed for those deemed suitable to decline. Furthermore, the event that an acting Lord is incapable and can no longer serve their position, a replacement must be quickly. Okay. The following is a report on the second successful case of the Sovereign Test Subject Experimentation. Boron, although the subject possesses high latent potential, exhibits significant mental instability, along with strong distaste for following orders. That's interesting. The risk it poses surpasses even those of the last successful subject and is therefore under consideration for disposal. Addendum. This is the first successful case in 300 years. So they never actually stopped the process. Previously mentioned, the risk factors are now mitigated due to the establishment of control protocols. The subject is to be evaluated under the assumption that Plan 2 will proceed. He will be dispatched to Dana under the guise of being a Lord. Topic to explore. Okay. Let's go to the big terminal. Alright, let's do that last because that's got the Sovereign and the Maiden data. So let's see what the side terminals say first. Seductive mask. The device covering the wearer's whole face, that restricts their mental activity. It was developed for the purposes of pacifying prisoners. Medical applications were also recognized, particularly as a means for preventing patients from sustaining mental trauma. However, doing so is not recommended, as prolonged use of the device carries a risk of inducing a number of adverse side effects. Addendum, due to the loss of production facilities incurred from the partial destruction of Lennigas, additional devices will no longer be manufactured. Oh, that explains a little bit about Alpha's mask. After receiving reports of a robust new form of pool emerging in Dana's water realm. The study was commissioned to investigate the matter in depth. The system is unique in that it elevates only the Lord as a supreme authority while regulating both Dana and Renans, or Renans and Danas alike, to enslavement. Test subject serves as the realm's current lord and has achieved this without any use of special powers, drugs, or devices. Rather, it has done so by sheer governance. Given its methods' effectiveness and population control, monitoring the situation will continue. Collapse of cognitive facilities via extreme mental repression rooted in violence and fear has proven to be the key. Once the subject loses its autonomy, they become desensitized to fear, subsequently the case, and so on. Ill-suited for commanding officers, it remains an effective way to cultivate infantry slaves and labor. Soldiers in Lenegus who have undergone this treatment will be asked to secure classified sectors as a trial. So that explains why the soldiers are here. Alright, now, that's one here. Lenegus Detachable Harvester. Okay, let's start with Lenegus. Large-scale energy converter that primarily converts elemental composition of Dana's astral energy and transmits it to Rena. Activating the control of astral energy conversion is achieved by placing the Sovereign Maiden and Rena's Alma within the central core of Lenegus. The outer core is deployed upon activation, unlocking the central conduit while simultaneously functioning as a stabilizing mechanism. Due to the design, deployment of the outer layer is expected to cause damage to residential zones. However, because that only takes place during the final stage of the ceremony, no contingency plan will address side damage as is needed. Until that phase, Lenegus serves as the central base of operations. Warning, any personnel with level 3 authority or lower is strictly forbidden from classified zone. Any violators will be immediately executed. This game more curious. A massive spirit vessel placed on Dana for the channeling ceremony. It serves as the tip of Lenegus' conduit as it separates. Upon landing on Dana waters, it extends 2 sets of controlling pathways. Or conducting pathways. The vertical pathways connect the center of Dana, while meanwhile the horizontal pathways envelop the entire surface. Once activated, it links to the biological spirit vessel placed in each realm, efficiently harvesting the planet's astral energy and mass, which is what we saw earlier. That's what the Spire was doing. In the Forbidden Zone's regulator area, Lenegus' outer layer must be deployed prior to launch. Intended to function semi-autonomously, only maintenance personnel are expected to manually interface with necessary. Other personnel is required to function. Addendum 1. Detached Harvester 1 was lost on Dana after exploding due to rampancy exhibition exhibited by the Sovereign. Detachable hearts are 2's landing point will remain the same as that power's previous model. Due to the explosion of the previous model, which altered the planetary topography, enabling easier connection to the center of Dana. Okay. So the failure actually proved to be something that they could use to their advantage. Interesting. Alright, so let's do the Sovereign. Sovereign acts as Lennox's central control device for the spirit channeling ceremony. Each one is granted level 2 authority and an ID crest. Dan's subject serves as the base of its ceremony. In theory, ideal candidates possess equal affinity for every astral element. However, such aptitude is statistically rare to uncover within the real-world candidates. As a result, most subjects die during the adjustment period, and stability is not guaranteed for those who survive. This instability, coupled with Sovereign's powers of astral manipulation, pose high risk to the security of Lennox if left unchecked. As such, stabilization measures must be put in place via support mechanism when utilizing the Sovereign as the ceremony. Addendum. No effective alternate methods to perform the ceremony have been found. Trials on Dan subjects are authorized to continue. Addendum. Unit 2 adjustments are success. Subsequent adjustments are to be held on hold while sending observation. Maiden. The Maiden acts as the Sovereign's support mechanism for the spirit channeling ceremony. Each one is granted level 2 authority and an ID crest. Renan's subject serves its functions, providing the Sovereign with supplemental dark astral energy it lacks in tandem with the Renus Alma. Okay, this is starting to make sense. During the ceremony, it is partially responsible for astral energy conversion, as well as maintaining stability over the Sovereign's own powers. Additionally, the degree of intimacy between it and the Sovereign has been observed to positively impact the level of stability. Because of this, trial activations of the Sovereign without the Maiden present are forbidden. Furthermore, neither the Sovereign nor the Maiden are to be informed about the details of the channeling plan. 1. Mental instability in the Maiden has been deemed a cause of the past Sovereign's rampancy. Countermeasures must be considered. 2. In line with the main adjustments, the current subject will have its Maiden registration revoked and be returned to its original household. Okay. Is there anything else in the back of the room? Like a chest or something? Because that would be really bad if I went through this room and there was a chest in here and I didn't find it. And I just blew it off. Nope, no chest. This is really starting to become more and more curious. We still don't know what they were trying to do or why. It's one of those things that we still don't know what or why. Notice, this area will now be shut down as project proceeds to the final phase. Okay. there was a chest here, though. Oops. I happened to glance up and see it. Almost missed it. Alright. How's our health doing? Yeah, nothing wrong there. Alright, let's go to this room here. Oh, a chest. Cool. Now, we've got a life bottle. This is Alphen's bed. Room unchanged over 3 centuries. It's like time itself stopped. Well, it's not that time stopped. It's just that there's no wear and tear here. Oh, next story. Alright. Mask on.
Naori, I...
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dana. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people.
Oh no.
I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Renan never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Elfin. Farewell.
But did she intend him to sleep for 300 years?
His injuries are worse than I thought. Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode. The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%?
Oh, Jesus.
Long-term use of the mask carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But... If I don't head back, Lenegis will be nothing but ashes. And this starship along with it. I don't know if I can fulfill my promise to you, Alphen. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance, I have to try. I hope it's enough.
So this damage was super significant.
Alphen.
Super significant. For it to take 300 years for him to heal.
That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alphen escape Lenegis.
She sure went above and beyond the call of duty.
Even with Lenegis crumbling down around her, she chose to stay put with her people.
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one agonizing decision Naori made to save your life.
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything. More than I could ever hope to repay.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
We're gonna push forward.
I promise. If the Renan people she fought so desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent force, then I owe it to her to carry on her fight.
There we go.
Naori was the one who put that mask on me, and made me Iron Mask.
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart.
Come on.
She knew you might lose your memories and sense of pain as a result. But more than anything, she wanted you to survive. And you did.
Alright, so save. Covered so much content. Definitely want to make sure we save. Alright. jump down the hole. I'm glad we can save anywhere. I really am. Because that makes a huge difference. Oh? Oh, is it marked? I don't know. Oh, it's just marked because it's a transfer point. Saying I can interact with it. Never mind. Okay, so we have this next room here, which is probably good. Is that a challenge? No, it's gonna be a straight room. No, it's just a room. Alright, let's grab this guy, which is nothing interesting. I'll grab this guy over here, because you know there's gonna be something in this room. Really? Nothing? That's kind of lame. Well, I guess I'll open the door. It's a lot of story.
Please. We've seen this in one of Naori's memories.
It's
Of course.
a long truck.
After 300 years, this is where it was held. The spirit channeling ceremony. This is where the Renis Alma was.
So
Yay.
this is the place where you and Naori...
The Renis Alma isn't here now. Nor is the Red Woman, it seems.
I know it's difficult, Alphen, but there will be time to dwell on the past later. For now, we need to keep moving. Come on.
Past's gonna come catch up to you in a second. Here we go.
Naori? What is this? Is it the work of Dana's will again?
It's been a year since the ceremony. That day, I shut away inside of myself the power that caused Alphen to lose control. Since then, my visions of the future have grown more and more fearsome.
Oh no.
Is this another memory? No, it's different this time. It's like she's speaking directly to us.
It's a recording.
What we did back then. Not so much as a day passes when I don't think about it. About what was done to us. All in the name of a ceremony. The purpose of which we were never even told.
Yep.
As Sovereign, they linked Alphen's consciousness to Lenegis itself. The Renis Alma was intended to control his power, lest anything should slip through its cracks. That day, as Maiden, my role was to temper his power. I was meant to guide it forth, and give shape to the strength inside of him.
Linked to Lenegis itself? But then, everything that's been happening...
Interesting.
But that power showed me a vision. A vision of oblivion. When I realized that vision was a prophecy of the apocalypse we were about to unleash, I couldn't go through with it. But without a maiden, the ceremony was doomed. Alphen lashed out, his consciousness no longer his own. I did what I could. Using my abilities as the maiden, I tried to seal that power away inside of me. But it was too late. Lenegis had already been brought to its knees. Thousands upon thousands of lives so cruelly snuffed out. All because of me. Because of what I had done.
Here we go.
With the destructive force now slumbering inside of me, I knew I had to find a way to dispose of it. Anything to make up for my failure. But I didn't know how.
truth comes out.
Especially since that power was astral energy itself. In which case, ironically enough, the Renis Alma seemed to be my best bet. That at least would hold the astral energy dormant. Assuming that no malevolent third party got to it first. With the Sovereign and Maiden's combined power, perhaps I could shift the chaotic energy inside me into the Renis Alma instead.
So that was her
That's
intent.
what I hoped, but alas, it was not to be. The Renis Alma was lost, and Alphen the Sovereign was in a starship bound for Dana. My only choice was to seal away the destructive force inside of me using my powers as the Maiden, to buy the world what little time I could. The time needed for a new Renis Alma to be crafted, and for a new Sovereign to appear. Even if by doing so, it meant I would be passing the curse onto my descendants as well.
So she created the
Forgive
crown
me.
contest.
I never meant to burden the
Create
future
a
world
new
with this threat too. I only
Renis
wish
Alma.
that there was something more I could have done.
Wait, you can't just...
That's messed up.
That message just now, was it directly from Naori? Or was it the Danan voice speaking through her?
Don't know. Don't know.
What?
Wardrobe rerun.
These are the clothes that Naori and I wore during the ceremony 3 centuries ago.
So you're saying this is the Maiden's outfit?
That's right. These clothes are designed to resonate with the Sovereign and Maiden's abilities. They focus and enhance them.
And they appeared now because...
Naori must have left them here for the new Sovereign and Maiden, knowing the day would come when they would need them in their fight against the Thorns.
These outfits are directly linked to the answers we've been chasing this whole time. If they're
Interesting.
here, it must mean it was Naori's will for us to find those answers as well.
Locating the Renis Alma would allow us to neutralize the dark astral energy inside Shion, thereby silencing her thorns. Is that what Naori's suggesting?
It makes sense.
That's
After
what
all,
I deal with.
master cores and spirit vessels are both able to prevent the astral energy inside them from developing sentience. By that logic, it would stand to reason that the Renis Alma would have the same ability on a larger scale.
We have a Maiden and Sovereign. Now all we need is the Renis Alma, and we'll finally be able to free you of your thorns.
Where did the first
Shion.
Renis Alma come from?
It's possible? You really think so?
I do.
That's the big question.
We can
Where
rid
did
you
the
of your
first one
thorns
come
and
from?
stop the world from falling to oblivion.
However, the spirit channeling ceremony already failed once. Even if our goal is different this time, we can't be sure the same thing won't happen again. We should take care not to be too optimistic.
You're right. It's the barest sliver of a chance. But if there's even the slightest hope it can work, I'm willing to stake everything I've got on it.
I know it's too early to let myself feel relieved, but I just can't seem to help it. Just hearing there's the slightest chance, even though I know the world's still in great peril. It's selfish of me, I know, but still.
No, it isn't. You found hope to believe in. It'd be strange if you weren't over the moon about it.
This
Rinwell's
kind of
right.
reminds me
We
of
can rid you of your
something
curse and
3
still
hours
save the world at the same time.
of just story, and it's like, ugh.
Thank you. Naori entrusted us with the fate of all humanity. Now,
it's tedious after
it's
a
up to
while.
us to prove that trust was well placed.
Starting with a little game called Hunt the Renis Alma.
Yeah, we've come all this way. Now we just need to search Lenegis and Rena until we find it.
Yeah, we can protect the world and save Shion at the same time.
I too shall lend my services. My knowledge of Renan lore is bound to be a useful asset.
And they say modesty is dead.
Miracles just seem to follow wherever you go, huh?
Sure.
How do you know it's me they're following? We're all in this together, Shion. You included. Now let's get moving, shall we? Last I heard, we had an apocalypse to stop.
Yeah, alright, so... What's
Thank
next?
you, Naori. So Naori sealed away the power that made me lose control of myself. She stopped my rampage and saved my life. But then, that power she'd sealed away was passed down to you. I'm so sorry, Shion. It's my fault that you're cursed.
You're wrong.
Wow,
What
let's just
happened
keep
to you was
continuing.
because of the ceremony, and Naori's attempt to stop Oblivion. You paid a heavy price for it, and then fell asleep for 300 years. The reason you lost your memories.
Is the reason for your curse.
The thorns.
It all leads back to them. But once they're gone, we can finally put an end to all this.
When my thorns are gone, I never dared to dream that such a thing could be possible.
Wow.
The
As the
truth is,
story just keeps on going.
I think
Most of
maybe
today,
I've always
unfortunately, has been
dreaming
suffering through the
about a
story.
life without my thorns.
Now, it's
The touch
interesting,
of my
don't get me
family,
wrong. It's
or
been
playing with my
good
friends, holding hands with
to
Rin,
finally...
or giving Law a deserved smack, embracing everyone. All the normal
It's
things
been a good
that
telling of
people
the
do
story.
together. I always wished I could experience them for myself and finally know what they were like. Is it really okay for me to believe it can happen? I'm so scared of getting my hopes up. What if it doesn't work out in the end, and...
It's just
That's
long.
not going to happen. I'm
Because we're
here
doing
in
it.
a
We're
short
doing it all
run.
at one time.
Forget fate
In
or
a giant
destiny or
dump.
anything else. We're going to live a normal life. There are a lot of things you still want to do, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's such a strange feeling. I know that we've still got plenty of fighting up ahead. And it's for my sake. So I can live.
You're worth fighting for.
I believe
So
you,
the goal here is
Alphen.
yes, do as much of this as we can today,
on
and
fighting.
then
For
tomorrow,
as long as it takes. Until our future is finally in our hands.
I plan to... Latest maiden. Alright. So, with her latest maiden, she gets elemental attack bonus. He... Defeat all lights that emerge from it. So that's actually going down back to the surface to do all 4 of the things. Let's do this one. And then that one. And for her, now this is a elemental defense. This is her attack. It's gonna take a lot of points. Resistance. What's this one give her? Elemental attack. So let's see what we can do here. Let's do that one. Renwell's got some points, which is good. Do that. Thank you. And then... Holy Lance. What's this one? Crossblade? What's that? Meet all the owls. Increase down damage. Over limit. Boost strike. Crossblade. Air damage. I don't know, let's just hold off on her. Law. Let's hold on. Law's got armor breaker, which is penetration. Defense. Resistance. Alright, let's do his penetration. Which works great for that. How much defense? Not so worried about that. Not really worried about his stuff, so just kind of like who's partially done. Not really picky in that. Same with her. It's like who's partially done with who again. Working on this one, so fill that up. She's got a bunch of stuff. Novice solo grounds, fishing, 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 power strike, advanced solo grounds. Alright, that gives her her thing. Alright, so deal Alaris. Sword given to the chosen sovereign that draws out all of their latent power. Some armor. Outfit. So, what we have now is he's got his new sword. He's got his new armor. She's got her new armor. Which works for me. Everybody's got the best gear they've got so far. So, if you look at the map, unless there's something like on the floor down here that we can pick up, gear-wise, we have a story element. Alright, let's clear these story elements up, and then we'll save before we go through this next door and pick up tomorrow.
Sounds like this Naori chick had quite the big heart.
Where we left off, and maybe
Her
we can get
position
to the end
demanded
boss.
nothing less. From the sound of things, she didn't focus on differences, least of all those between Renans and Danans.
Yeah. It was Naori who first showed me that such a thing was even possible. And then she saved my life by sending me back home to Dana.
Not only that, but she willingly stayed behind on Lenegis for the sake of her people. It sounds like she was quite the hero, all right. A truly caring person.
Except
As if
she's
walls
also
meant
the
nothing to
callous of
her,
the crown
the one
contest.
separating the Renans from the Danans, or herself from others. She had no need for them.
Which basically meant that she never had anything to break down in the first place, huh? Yeah. I think you may be right about that.
And that's the
You
problem.
inherited that legacy. Her wish for the world.
Don't I know it?
She's kind of like a lodestar guiding our way, showing us what we can aspire to.
Anything else? Alright, so that's where we're gonna break for the night. I'm gonna go ahead and save. And we'll pick this up tomorrow night, same time, and see if we can finish the game. So we are at 43 hours, and pretty much we're going into the end boss fight and then the end story elements. So we're running up on that pretty quick. Hopefully we don't have too many problems with that, and we'll be able to burn through it tomorrow pretty good. But we'll see. So, greatly appreciate everybody dropping in for the night, and I will see you tomorrow, and hopefully we'll clear this up then. Have a good night.